Sarah, welcome. And guys, welcome to the second and final session of our SOS Summit, Success Over Struggles. I'm going to turn the time over to Sarah. Sarah is phenomenal. We met, about a month and a half ago via LinkedIn through our awesome group. By the way, those on LinkedIn, go join. We're part of this super fun group. Love it. Travis, shout out to you, my man. It's called Deep Link, and Victor. It's awesome. You know, we're all in there to collaborate, learn from each other, and those guys are just killers. So, Sarah, I'm going to turn the time over to you, and let's rock.
Awesome. Thank you. What an intro. You guys did an awesome job putting together all of that, stuff for Facebook and LinkedIn and all that stuff. So thank you for putting all that together and for putting this together and for having me. Like Jessica said, we are all over the world on here, which is really, really cool. And I am actually joining you all from beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. And it is gorgeous today. And I hope that wherever you are watching this from, it is just as gorgeous there. And if not, I am really sure that all of the energy from everybody that you're going to be hearing from today and from each other is really just going to pump you up and light up the room wherever you are. As Chase said, I'm Sarah Marie. I work with a company called Jack Nadell International, and we are an international branding agency, and we're based out of Los Angeles, California. I am your branding consultant, and I say that I'm your branding consultant because my clients range from multi-billion-dollar corporations to, my neighbor who's a local HVAC, a small business. And my passion is really to help you with your brand identity and enhance your brand recognition to really create those meaningful connections to your clients and your customers. So feel free to, during this whole thing, put some questions, put some comments over there in the chat. I'm going to get over to those once I kind of get through with what some of my thoughts are, but I want to know what you guys are thinking and what you're kind of going through. And this is all for you guys. So anything you got, toss it over there. You will not be left unheard. I want to really start by just saying thank you to all of you guys and congratulations for tuning in, whether you're tuning in live or if we post a recording of this later, that you tune into it later. But really just congrats on valuing your business and yourself, right? I mean, you're here, you're taking the time to invest in yourself, in your business, because you recognize that we're in I hate buzzwords, but we're really in a pivotal moment in time right now. And as all of the great folks who presented earlier in the mind and body arena spoke to, the energy and the ultimate success of your business too, it's on you and it's on what actions you take right now. And whether you're the founder of a startup or a small business, or you're head of marketing for like a Fortune 500 company, or, even if you're the assistant to the regional manager of a small town paper company, right? You play a role in the brand of your business. So let's back up a little bit because that's a big statement, right? And maybe it's even a little controversial to say that everybody has a role in the brand of their business. So let's take a quick minute. When we were going to do this over on Hopin, we were going to have a little poll, but I want to jump over to the chat and let's run this poll over there. So take a minute. When I say that brand, like when I say the word brand, how many of you think that your company's brand actually rests on your shoulders? And be honest here. I mean, do you believe that you have the full responsibility of your company brand? It's your business, or you're in a leadership role. Maybe that's even a part of your job description. Do you think maybe that you play into the company brand, but you don't actually influence it? Or do you think that this whole company brand thing is something that's already solidified, it's established, and that all of this branding nonsense really doesn't apply to you at all? You're ready to just click off and you'll come back on when Mayan's talking about TikTok, right? Let me know. What do you guys think? As a digital marketer, yes, Nihal, he believes he is. Yes, it's our image, Victor says. Lewis says, definitely. Lisa says, I agree. I think with COVID-19 affecting world globally, branding is possibly going to change. Jody, that's a really interesting point. And yes, Travis says 100% control and responsibility of our brand. So there's there's a consensus here that I'm seeing, and it may be that if you disagree, you're not actually saying it. But to really dive into this, we have to realize that branding is so much deeper than our logo, right? And at J&I, our primary focus is branded merchandise, like kind of like the stuff you see behind me here on the shelves. We do that for e-company stores, gift stores, marketing initiatives, and internal programs. And in order to do this successfully, we realize that your branding, whether it's your personal or your corporate brand, it's not just your logo. It's who you are, it's what you believe in, it's how you relate, and it's really just what you do, what people think about your company. So depending upon your position, you may not have a say or an influence on the logo or the colors or the website of your company, but you absolutely play a role in the brand. So let me give you an example. Last week, I was struggling through, what was that? Week 4 of quarantine. And I was feeling really discouraged, honestly. I was frustrated, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. I was bouncing between, the millionth load of dishes, so many dishes, driving me crazy, and helping my daughter with her schoolwork, like I was just talking about, and, working with my clients on creative new solutions for just another canceled event. And that got really discouraging. And then I actually received a call from one of my suppliers. Now, this woman that called me, she's not the CEO or the district manager or anything like that. She's actually our, I think her position is order processor for this supplier. So we send our POs to her, she puts them into production, and I mean, that's relatively far down from any kind of C-suite position that you would think actually sets in place those branding standards. And she was calling me to check up on my family. She asked me how my daughter was. She asked if there was anything she could do to help me business-wise. And she didn't have to do that. Some people might even argue that it wasn't her role to do it, or she was, not staying in her lane by doing that. But that positive interaction was enforcing the company's brand to me. And so let me give you a little backstory. So when I started in this industry, I was told by a lot of people, when in doubt, look to this company that this woman works for. And it's true, they have just about everything you could need, really good prices. And so I sent a lot of orders to them starting out. And unfortunately, because of some of the experiences that I had with them starting out, I ended up completely swearing off the company, just based off of those experiences. And I brought my business elsewhere. And about 3 years ago, though, that changed when this woman became my order processor. She completely turned around any negative thought or impression that I had of the company, because she was responsive, she was kind, she was thoughtful, and it was just a totally different experience. She rebranded that company to me. The logo stayed the same, the website stayed the same, everything from a C-suite level stayed the same, but she rebranded the company. Now, I continue to actually send as many orders and as much business to them as I can, entirely based on my experience with that one woman. She really stepped up in this crucial time last week, and she stepped into the chaos, right, that we're all going through right now. And in this time, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, but in this time we have the responsibility to set the tone for our brands. And the tone that we have right now is going to set the stage for the next decade of our businesses. And that's huge, right? And we don't get a time like that often. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity for us. And we're in a time that is totally different, right? It's altogether different, but in no way are any of our experiences unique from one another right now. And, like Jessica said just a few minutes ago before we hopped on here, like, we are all around the world, but we're all the same. And not only are we all the same because we're human, we're all the same because we're going through the same thing. And that is incredibly powerful. For the first time, we can legitimately relate to the emotions and the experiences of just about everybody around the world right now. We're becoming more digitally accessible to our clients and our customers. And we're recognizing the value of our employees as individuals. And we're actually gaining some valuable insight into their personal aspects of their lives when their kids run in or their dogs bark in. And there's like an acceptance of that now, right? Because now we're actually okay with our employees being human beings and having lives. And we're all transforming our businesses in this time to be more aware of that, right? And this is pushing us into a much better future that we, not every business would have gone in that direction if it weren't for this. So that's something to be very grateful for in this time. When I work with my clients on their brand identity, there are many aspects that go into that, right? I mean, you've got the logo, the colors, all the graphic elements, and what people visually think of when they think brand. But there is so much more to that. When I talk to my clients about this and we establish what their brand identity is, we discuss their mission and their values and their purpose of actually being in business. And because of our global experiences now, compassion and human understanding are going to become an even more fundamental block of building and rebranding your brands moving forward. So let's take a moment, stop. If you've got a pen, if you've got paper, take it out and just take a second to ponder how that applies to your brand. Whether that is your personal brand because you have your own business or you work for a bigger company or whatever that looks like. Think for a second, how does all of this, everything that we're going through, how does that apply to your brand? How is your brand going to step up and show up for more than just your profit, right? When brands give back, customers or consumers, they feel better about supporting that brand. So it's not just saying, hey, we're not going to worry about profit at all, because that's not wise business practice. But relating to your audience is what your brand is. And so taking the environment that we're in right now and being conscious of that will actually turn back to profit down the road. Most consumers are even willing to pay a premium for products and for services that are associated with some kind of cause. And actually, there was a study done in 2012, I believe. It was a Nielsen survey on socially conscious consumers. And I would encourage you guys, if you're interested in that, go take a look at that. It's very interesting. Now, that was done in 2012, so it's dated. It was like 8 years ago. But, I mean, you can look at that and realize if that's what was going on 8 years ago, it's even more applicable today with us living in chaos like this. What an amazing culture we have the opportunity to encourage right now, because everybody is expecting for there to be some kind of compassion elevated right now with brands. And now, realistically, we don't really know how long this time is going to last, but we do know that we can't wait for it to pass to address it from a branding perspective. And our actions today, both corporately and personally, like I was saying before, affect our brand. And the brands that stand out and thrive through this time will be the ones that find solutions to problems. And when I say problems, it's not just the problems that you have as a company, but the problems that your clients are facing, the problems that your communities are facing, and the problems that really, our world is facing. When I think about this, I think about, the apparel companies that have turned their production lines into PPE factories to send masks and gloves and all of that, or the event halls. I saw a connection of mine on LinkedIn who took their event hall and now has thousands of hospital beds being hosted in these event halls instead of, 1,000 expo attendees. And even the companies that are sending out like board games and sweatpants and, little work from home kits to their clients and their employees to entertain the kids and kind of stay comfortable in all of this, right? Those are all ways that we can shift our brand to be applicable right now and to find solutions. So the question is, though, how do we do this practically, right? It's fun to talk about it, but how do we do it practically? I have a blog post that I just put up, and I'm going to put a link to my website here in the chat so that you guys can see this. That kind of just shows what you can, how to kind of have a discussion with your folks to work through it. First step, obviously, evaluate needs. Then ask yourself, how can you take what you do specifically to help with those needs, and then just implement it. Now, that's really my encouragement for you today. Whether you're the CEO or the order processor, recognize that your brand lies in your hands, and how you show compassion and solutions right now as you're working through this. Know that there is never a charge for any of my branding consultation, and I'm always here for you guys if you have any other questions. And what I curate for you guys it goes far beyond just logo slaps. Like, we really try to apply everything that's going on. So you can find me on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and on my website that I just posted in there. But if you've got any other questions, let me know. Drop them in the comments, and let's see if we can get some answers.